we're in the process of opening that dialogue and making it, more and more consistent from the city level, and then we'll probably have a better diagnosis of what can the city do as I get more feedback from the school district. But same thing with the military. We're not going to sit idly by where if they've got infrastructure needs and they've got crumbling hangars that could affect the ability to maintain mission here. I can't just sit in my office and say that's not our job. So probably too early, too premature to say here are the 5 things we're going to do. We got the education report back from the transition team. They did a lot of research on that, and we're starting to kind of inch a few of those things forward. But I would say we're immersed in kind of diagnosis mode of how we can best help. But what I'm mentioning today is just really more philosophical, that we aren't going to just say that's not our job. It is our job, and if we want this community to be what we want it to be, the city has to do everything it can to be a great partner to our school district and to our military.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I know part of your transition team and report wanted to look at public safety in the city and kind of investing in that kind of aspect. Are there some things in the near future that you're looking at and implementing in increasing kind of helping public safety?
Yeah, so we've got a few of those things, moving from the carry forward that was approved a few weeks ago. I know that the updates on those is that the new tactical vehicle's been ordered or as close to it if it hasn't been ordered already. The 2 CRA officers were approved, and that process moves forward. From a public safety facility standpoint, we're getting that study ready to go to kind of look at the facilities that we have and what kind of shape that they're in. So, I think the big hurdle was, getting that carry forward approved and that list of public safety things that we want to get moving. And we're now that has been approved, we're in the process of following through with all of those proposals that we already have. The barricades have already, are they already here? Yeah, so the additional barricades to help us with staffing, help us with our parades, keeping those kinds of things safe. Those are already have already arrived. So now we're in execution phase. I would say based off of the proposals we had in public safety previously. Yeah.
Mayor, on the subject of public safety, your police chief at the town hall over at Sanders Beach last week or so talked about, I thought, very novel and unique targeted approach to street violence. And he talked about the Addicts Court area. Could you summarize, would you be willing to summarize what the chief told that audience at your town hall?
Well, he's the technical expert. I want to make sure I don't want to, paraphrase incorrectly. But what I'll tell you is we're having a lot of conversations about this new phase in policing. And you hear the term community policing a lot, and what that term means to me, I can speak to that, is the same way us as citizens want to know who our police officer is and feel comfortable with the police around and all of that. That's a two-way street. We've got to empower our police department to make sure that they aren't transactional, that they're not just going from call to call to call. If we truly want to say we're going to be about community policing, then we've got to allow, there's other logistical steps that have to be taken to really be able to say that that's something that's important to us. So those are conversations the chief and I have had a lot, and I appreciate his openness and willingness to look at. Again, I don't want to say outside the box. These are things that cities and communities are starting to talk about. Another one, I know you didn't ask about this, another conversation we've had recently is about some of the interesting efforts that are happening. I heard about some of these when I was in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Conference of Mayors, but recruitment and retention of police, and how cities are now going into communities. We want to build diversity on our with our first responders, and that's something that cities struggle with. So some cities have started to get pretty proactive in going and recruiting in neighborhoods, and in our own neighborhoods, instead of spending as much time recruiting people from outside the city. How do we bolster our efforts to recruit great people inside our city to be part? And you want people that are protecting us, that care about our community. How do we nothing like having a hometown person that cares about our community. And so, those are conversations. We haven't committed to any initiative at this point. But again, I appreciate the chief's willingness to have those conversations and think, again, creatively would probably be the best way to put it, about how we deal with some of the issues that we have. So community policing, recruitment and retention, mental health for our first responders. Those are all these new conversations that we're having, to just make sure that we put our people in the best position to keep our community safe. Anything else? All right. Well, I will see y'all tonight at 6 o'clock. Thank you.
All right, thank you.